And now on to Paul Moulton from Isle of Man Television. Good afternoon, Paul. Fast am I.
Good afternoon, Chief Minister. Carrying on about with Nobles Hospital being under pressure, I'm intrigued because flu, as already been said, is down. I mean, because of the very nature of the transmission. So that would normally be what would be not only seeing a lot of input through the hospital, but obviously can cause death in certain cases. Maybe you can put a bit more information to us about what it is that's being passed on. I mean, and does it have any relevance to being passed from one person to the other, like having 8,000 people in Strand Street? Would that have caused a potential blip, for instance?
Well, I think I'll bring in the Health Minister, or Henrietta, is there anything you want to add before I bring in the Health Minister on that?
Only to confirm that respiratory illness as such is low, and we've already been through the issues about gatherings, including Strand Street, so I don't have anything to add to that. So.
Right. Okay, David, you've got the latest views on that as the Health Minister, if you want to come in.
Yeah, happy to. Paul, in relation to it, there is no sort of cluster of illness as such that is causing it. It's across the board in acute care. So we haven't seen, there's no sort of spike to say we're seeing more of this one condition than anything else. It's certainly not infectious diseases, it's not respiratory diseases, it's just general acute care that we've actually seen a rise of. So I'm happy, for instance, Paul, to share with the fact, which I've got through from Nobles today. I mean, normally at this time of year, we'd expect to see 10 to 12 admissions per day, Monday to Friday at this time of year. At the moment, we're seeing about 15, 16 or 17. So it's about nearly 50% up on where we would expect it. We're hoping, of course, like I say, that this is a temporary blip. But obviously, this is why we have a winter plan each year, so that we can actually cope with this and make sure that people who need acute care can get it.
And has this put pressure on A&E? I mean, is it people doing things in A&E scenario, or they actually have to go in and be, from the doctor being passed in there?
No, it's people who require admission. So it's not people just turning up at A&E. It's actually people who are presenting perhaps through the emergency department, but they do require acute care in hospital. Okay.
Next point, obviously Qantas, you probably followed that story, have been the first airline to say that no one's travelling with them unless they've got the vaccination form when they get their, the injection for the COVID. You own the seaports, and you obviously have quite influence now over the airlines with Logan. Will you be pursuing that sort of route when that time comes, that people can only come or maybe even go from the Isle of Man when they've got valid vaccination forms?
Well, I think that's something that we'll have to look at nearer the time. At this moment in time, we haven't got the vaccine to use on the island at this moment in time. We will have to take obviously advice to ensure that it's enforceable. And if it's something that we could say you can come and visit the island if you're vaccinated, but that's a few months down the road yet, Paul. It's going to take a while for us. It's going to take a while for the United Kingdom and the rest of the world to deliver the vaccine, because it has to be done in two injections, and it has to be two, if not a month. 2 weeks or a month apart. So we've got a little bit of time to be looking at whether that is a policy that we wish to go down that route. But as I say, we will review on a regular basis, and if that is something that we feel is relevant, then I'm sure we'll certainly look at it. But at the time, certainly not at the moment.
But a game changer potentially for a TT, albeit a delayed TT, that it could be seen to happen next year if things are in place, right?
Well, I think we need to be realistic. I think in my last week's speech, I said whilst the vaccines could be a silver bullet, they weren't a speeding silver bullet. It is going to take several months for all jurisdictions, not just the Isle of Man, but all jurisdictions, to deliver a vaccine. And therefore, it's not something that we're going to be able to say that by Easter we will be totally on top of this. It's going to be several months to get everyone into a good position where we've got our vaccination under control. So we'll just have to monitor this, I'm afraid, Paul.